Hey guys, Loco8080, and today I'm going to be giving you my first impressions of a new DayZ mod called DayZ Purge. Now, this is pretty much brand new, it's not been out that long. I've been notified of this and I've seen a couple of first impression videos already out there on YouTube, so I decided to take a look to let you guys know about it, tell you some of the features, show you the game itself or the mod itself, and also to show myself, as I was quite interested in what it was all about. Now, I am going to be basically showing you a couple of things in this video which I see, and I'm also going to be telling you some of the features, what I'm aware of, and then at the end of the video what I will do is basically discuss my opinions of it, and just basically an overview. So, what the developers wanted to do, they wanted to basically go back to the roots of DayZ. Now, when I say that, what that basically means is when DayZ first came out and you had that feeling and that suspense and the difficulty, everything wasn't easy to do. That's when they get it back. Now, in my opinion, I don't know if that's something they can do. Yeah, they can make a mod which is hard, but I don't know if that feeling could ever come back, because those were the best days of DayZ, in my opinion, right at the beginning. But they are aiming to do that, and they are aiming to achieve that feeling, which is always going to be positive in my book. Now, as you can see at the moment, I'm just actually looting a house in Electro. Players just run by. There wasn't too many players on the server at the time I was actually playing, but you can see I was actually accessing this wardrobe which was in front of me, and there is other items throughout the world you can access, like vending machines and cupboards and things like that we can loot into, also medical boxes in hospitals and HCs, things like that. So there is that extra opportunity for looting and actually having to get involved more. You can see an object now I'm actually checking, and in the moment in time I'm going to be checking the desk over here. Cool little things like that which I've seen before in other mods, but I'm glad that they've actually got this in here. What they've also done as well is they've added new enterable buildings, and they've also basically redesigned some of the interiors of some of the buildings as well, which is, in my opinion, great. It opens up other avenue for looting, extra places to go, and also other environments for close quarter PvP inside buildings, which I'm hoping to get involved in, as it would be pretty cool in some of the buildings which they've got, which I will be showing you later on in this actual video. Now, in terms of actually coming by things, how difficult is it going to be? Now, from what I basically understand, in terms of weaponry, now, in terms of weapons, they're not going to be easy to come by like you can on Overclock Epoch. I know I keep referring to Overclock and Epoch a lot, but it's just because that's the most popular mod out at the current moment in time. So I'm trying to show you the differences, but why this in its own right could be something worth checking out. Now, in terms of weaponry, from what I've heard, sniper rifles and high-powered weapons are only going to be found at helicrashers. They're making it more realistic in terms of where you find weaponry, so fire stations aren't going to have high-powered weapons, and you're usually going to come across AKs and M4s and things like that. There's also going to be a weapon attachment system, so you can get different attachments for the weapons, like sights and grenade launchers. I've seen grenade launchers before, and I actually do find a Cobra sight during this period of time when I'm actually playing, so that was quite interesting. I'm glad that the fact that the weapons are going to be rarer. There's new weapons added and new pistols, things like that. Apparently some new scopes. Now, there's also map has been changed as well. As you can see, there's some new slight improvements done to the industrial side of Cherno. And there's quite a lot of new different buildings added and customization work done to the map, which is always a plus, as it just spices the map up a little bit and doesn't make it the same old, same old. Now, in terms of, as I mentioned, weapons and the scopes. Now, like I say, the sniper rifles are going to be hard to come by. They are only going to be, apparently, from what I heard actually, helicrashers. You're going to be able to get some kind of like ghillie wraps which work, I believe, on like M40A3s and things like that, so you can actually have camouflage on your sniper rifle, which is pretty cool. There's also windage involved. Now, for those of you who haven't played on like the original Hard Corps or play with Ace, you might not be aware what it is, but basically with windage, you're going to have to take that a little bit more care when you're sniping. So no more of just aiming the scope and firing and killing fresh spawns. Basically, you have to take a little bit of time and thought into the shots that you actually take. and hopefully if ammunition's rare to come by, you're only going to want to take those shots when you really need to, and you know you can actually hit the target. Now, in terms of the map as well, there's a lot of vehicle wrecks lying around, a lot of the actual tents, like the Cherno tents here, where in a moment I do manage to find an AK, as I'm currently around with double barrel, which we all know is no good. But there's a lot of things around which makes it look a lot more like basically there's been an apocalypse, like the original DayZ did. A lot of newer mods removed the actual scripting, so there wasn't the roadblocks and the debris, and like the tents and things were completely removed. One thing I have seen, I do know about in terms of map customization, they have done some work on Starry Sabor, and don't actually see this in this video as I didn't get time to get that far up north as I was looking around a lot of the areas on the coast, but it is something I'm curious to see for myself, as from what I've seen on videos it does look pretty well. Now, in regards to a couple of other things what I wanted to cover, especially vehicles. Now, so you may be wondering if vehicles are going to be easy to come by, what kind of vehicles they are, etc. Now, from once again what I have heard, because all this information I'm getting is what I've been told or I've seen from other videos, so they may be subject to change, or there may be new features in now which I'm not aware of, or what I'm mentioning may have been altered. But vehicles themselves aren't going to be everywhere like you find on the mods we're currently playing, people are playing today. I believe there's around 60 vehicles on the server, which 3 are helicopters. I'm glad for the number of helicopters because it means you're going to have to actually work for them instead of everybody having one. Majority of vehicles are going to be motorbikes and things like that, but like I say, it's not going to be a high number of vehicles, but there's still a decent number out there, so you will be able to get one, but it's going to make it a lot more worth it for you and feel a lot more special when you do manage to find a vehicle, fix it up and keep it actually safe. We're going back to the good old-fashioned tents. I understand you can get some parts upgrade tents to make them more camouflaged. That I'm not too sure about, so I can't speculate into it more. But that's something which could be interesting, and I like the fact of going back to having to hide vehicles in woods and your tents, and instead of using safes and lockboxes, it just gets it back to that original feel, which is good. Now, in regards to vehicles as well, there's new vehicle dynamics, which basically vehicles will work differently depending on the damage they've got. From what I've heard as well, like helicopters, if they have a damaged engine but it's still flyable, it does have a chance of the engine actually failing and cutting out. As you can see on the screen, I've got a different check backpack, which is just a new skin on there, so that was something new for me to actually see. There's also a new weather system, new fog, things like that. I didn't really get to see much of that while playing on the server. It was pretty much overcast for me, so I didn't manage to actually see anything different. You can also actually shoot from vehicles. There is ability, I've seen it on a clip where people shoot from the back of a Euro. Apparently it is a little bit buggy at the moment, but the basics are there for it working. I think it's when you're just getting out of the vehicle, you come out on top. But I'm not sure if that's been fixed since that was actually uploaded and I saw that clip, or what's happening with that. But that is actually, which is cool, as I haven't really seen that before in Arma 2, or if anywhere. I think I've seen it on maybe on a mod for Tacky Life before, I was told about it, but not actually in a DayZ mod. So that's, in my opinion, is always great. Now, in the moment in time, you can see I'm just basically checking for supplies in the store in Cherno. What I wanted to do is I wanted to go down to Balota and have a look over there, see if there's any changes. So I'm going to need supplies for the actual journey. Now you can see with the actual icons side screen, everything seems quite tidy. There's no side chat, which is always a bonus to me, a benefit to me. I don't know if it's something they're going to have on servers in the future or if it's just this one, but I'm glad there's no side chat. Absolutely hate side chat, and people tend to use side chat and look at that more than actually playing the game. So that to me is great. Now, I did actually find a skin. To change skins, you do need to log out the server, which I've seen before. I can't quite remember where. But you can't just drop your backpack or put it on where you got your backpack on. You do need to actually leave the server. And you can see I've got a soldier clothing on. Now, this is one of the new interiors on the buildings. It's the jailhouse, as they call it on DayZ Standalone, or the prison building. Now, you can see the interiors have been changed and altered on this, which is good. There's a couple more rooms on there. It's a bit more flexible for some combat. Extra places you can look for loot, which is always a pro in my opinion. It just opens the map up so much more and gives you so much to look into. I could always imagine getting involved in some PvP in these kind of buildings, having to clear rooms. It could be pretty fun. Now the final thing I want to actually show you guys is this. I thought it was absolutely cool. You could actually hear it from distance away, and yes, it's working dams. I know it's nothing majorly significant, but to me, I just think it looks cool. Actually great. You can see the actual ripples in the water where it's come. Well, the sound's insane. I wish I would have actually left that part in instead of narrating over, but it does look pretty cool. It's just one of those extra touches which I do appreciate that they've put into the actual game. Now the video is going to end shortly. I'm just going to summarise on everything really, my opinions and what I think the future has in store for DayZ Purge. Now, from what I've seen so far, it has got a good feeling to it. I'm glad for the little map changes I've seen so far. There's a lot more for me to see, to be fair, but what I've seen so far is pretty good. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to be successful. Nothing to do with the developers or the work that they've done. It's just because of the day and age we're in now with the epoch overpoch era, people have become lazy. People don't want to have to work for anything anymore, and they want the vehicles to be safe and have the gearing safe so no one can steal it and things like that, which is like fair enough. It's what people have had to play for a long time and people enjoy that. But for those hardcore players out there who do want to get back towards the roots of DayZ, this is an option. Now, will me and my guys be playing at OSC? I'm unsure at this moment in time. I'm unsure if I can get them out of Overpoch, and to be fair, the servers would need to be highly populated. And then, if the servers do get highly populated, I will come back and start doing some recordings on this, as I am actually really interested in it. So I do hope this does well. I've got my reservations if it well won't, but only because of the type of things that people like to play these days. If it works though, that'll be fantastic, and it does have the potential to do so. Now, there is a lot more to see up north, which I haven't managed to be able to do due to the amount of playtime I had. I didn't get the opportunity to get any further north than this Electro Dam. If you do want to see more footage of this, we talk about it some more, but do live commentary next time and show you some of the areas up north and hopefully get into a bit of PvP, do let me know in the comments below. If you are interested in giving this a try as well, what I will do is I will leave a link in the description to their website so you can check it out for yourselves. I know I've gave out a lot of information. I've probably missed some bits out, but I just wanted to get this video up to you guys as quickly as I could. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please consider giving it a like. It really does help me out. And I'll see you on the next video.